Alrighty then, here we are. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 363, How Not to Get Sued. Here's Stanley. He's having an okay morning so far. Had a decent walk, but he was limping a little bit. He probably walked too hard yesterday. Alright, staying true to copyright and trademark within your book. Alright, and I'm assuming you're writing fiction. If you're writing nonfiction, then attribution and those elements that educators use to reference other materials apply. But as fiction, you're under different rules. Song lyrics, big no-no. You can't use them, even with attribution. Hey, the song from Rush, and you quote the first sentence. No, big no. Song titles are a-okay. You can say the song title, because that actually helps to promote a book, if promote a song, as opposed to just snagging the lyrics. Don't snag lyrics. Wholesale copy of other copyrighted text. This is where, even with attribution, don't do it. You shouldn't be copying other people's text, and it's not your work. I do quotes. Quotes are okay because they're attributed. This person said this, quote, at the top of my chapters in one of my series. And those are okay. Quotes are okay. But copy and text and elements therefrom, like if you're trying to explain how a warp drive works and you just copy the Wikipedia page and put it in there, no, don't do that. Trademarked characters. This is a hard question. If you have a book where you reference, hey, he went on that, he attacked that like Wolverine, that's okay. But if you have a character named Wolverine who has claws that come out of his hand, you might not want to do that. And Mickey Mouse, that's a Mickey Mouse operation. You can try it, and it's probably okay, but I wouldn't, because Disney has an army of lawyers, and they are not afraid to litigate. So even if you're right, it's going to cost you a fortune to fight them. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do a Mickey Mouse operation. I have in the past, and actually I went back and changed it after I had done that. So that book titles cannot be copyrighted in America. In Germany they are, but in America they're not. However, characters and certain elements on the title can be trademarked, and then you can't use them. Like, don't title your book Harry Potter and the Biggle Snots Upter Quix, because people who have hundreds of millions of dollars have armies of lawyers, and you don't. So don't do that. So look for trademarks, and you can find USPTO.gov, I believe. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has this stuff. You can do a search there for for trademarked elements. And on trademarking, something else that you need to pay attention to is it trademarked for novels, for stories, for the written word, or is it trademarked for something else, for beer? Because this is one Microsoft actually lost a lawsuit in Russia because there was a beer company that called their beer Microsoft Windows. And Microsoft was like, you can't do that. And they sued them, and the beer company won because beer cannot be confused with software. So, still, you probably don't want to do that. Locations mentioned in a bad light. Locations, these places exist. The town, you go to Houston. Houston exists. Starbucks exist. So using them as a reference point, hey, I grabbed a Starbucks on the way out. That's perfectly fine, because that's everyday life, and that's in millions of documents. Starbucks couldn't sue everybody who mentioned Starbucks. That would be horrendous for their business. But Starbucks will poison you. Now, you start doing that stuff, they might get their backs up a little bit. And once again, they're millionaires. They have armies of lawyers. The easiest way is and close doesn't count. So instead of Target, you call it Tare Get, T-A-R-E, separate word get. That's okay. And this is the courts have ruled on that close does not count. It has to be the same. You're calling it Target. Target is where people get killed and murdered and their kidneys stolen. Then, yeah, they could take exception to that. But Tare Get, completely different. And Waldo Mart Superstore, remember Chevy Chase vacation. They went to Wally World. Well, they didn't want to make Disneyland, but it was Disneyland, right? In California, they took the big road trip out there. But no, they called it Wally World. Even a major studio avoided that death trap with Disney and just called it Wally World instead of Disneyland. So, best is to make up a different name, like a 7-Eleven, call it a 724, or a 24/7 Mini Mart, and everybody will get what you mean, but it's not litigious. It's not litigable, gettable, one of those. Close counts, just so, and mentioning in a bad light, but grab a Starbucks on the way out, perfectly fine. You'll never get in trouble with that, but you don't want to make it like the hub of all evil. Using real locations, you can always ask and request, like song lyrics. You can request to use song lyrics. That's cool. And you can request, like if you have a small town cozy mystery and you have a restaurant mentioned, ask them. And ask them, hey, can I use your restaurant as a location for this scene in my book? They might like it and say, okay, get that written permission, and sure, why not? But just don't do it and throw it out there and say, oh, yeah, I thought this would be cool for you. What, killing people in my restaurant? Get the hell out of here. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't kill people in somebody's business. Don't kill their business. Don't kill your business. Anyway, there it is. Trademark copyright, it's really not that hard. If you have to think about it and wonder, then don't do it. So, different names, the big city names, we went to Chicago, we went to the north side of Chicago, perfectly fine. Those places exist. But then when you get there, how do you name the elements, the facilities, and you dial it in? You make it close, but not the same. Don't give anybody a reason to find offense with your book. All right. Good enough. Kind of a rule of thumb. And if you have a question, always ask an IP lawyer and be ready to pay, because they don't work for free, and they shouldn't, because this stuff is hard. IP law is really, really hard and always evolving. I have a number of friends in IP law, friends from law school. Anyway, I hope that helps. Peace, fellow humans.